Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, a fire outbreak at Calabar Export Processing Zone leaves at least 10 people dead, several others injured. The Lagos State government deposes Balel Shangisha Chief Yusuf Ogundare for allegedly faking his own kidnap. The Sultan of Sokoto, Sayed Abubakar III, says the unity of Nigeria is paramount, asks Nigerians to shun proponents of ethnic and religious divisiveness. While Senegal suspends all sporting and cultural activities for July following Saturday's stadium stampede deaths. We begin tonight in Calabar. At least 10 persons have been confirmed dead, several others injured following a fire incident at the Free Zone Enterprise in Esukutan community of Cross River State. The fire, which affected a tank farm, part of Nigeria Ports Authority, and the Esukutan community, was said to have been triggered by an overflow of PMS products being discharged from a vessel to a tank farm around the area. An eyewitness told Channels Television that most of the persons who got burnt were scooping the product. If the dark smoke is a sign that something is wrong, the pandemonium that breaks out is proof. Fire tankers make their way to the point of commotion. The Calabar Free Zone Enterprise at Esukutan community in Cross River State has been hit with tragedy, one that has so far claimed 10 lives. The other evidence of the level of destruction can be seen in vehicles, buildings and walls. Eyewitnesses say the tragic incident occurred with an overflow of petroleum products discharging from a vessel. The people watch on from a safe distance. Those that try to get in to check on their business, friends and family residing behind the depot and business are denied entry.
My colleagues just called me that there is a problem in my office. I'm a businesswoman, I sell fish. So she just called me that fire entire this security doesn't allow us to go in. Our fishermen are there. I sell fresh fish. And that's my office. They should allow me go in and see my customers if I will be able to rescue those women with children.
Some journalists, with the help of the Commissioner for Petroleum Resources, eventually gain access into the premises, but this is met with aggression from port and security officials.
My premises. What is your premise? Put it your premise, my place. Put it your premise. Put this thing off. Put it off. Let him spoil it. Leave it to me. Put it off. Let him spoil it. Leave it. Let him spoil it. Leave it. Spoil it. Put the camera. I said, walk up from the camera.
The Commissioner is calling for immediate investigation to be carried out, as he believes illegal activities in the zone caused the disaster.
There's just no explanation that people will be taking petroleum product in jerry cans from depot. It doesn't happen anywhere. So for me, I think, some very serious drastic measures must be taken. We need to set up, an investigative committee. There should be a serious inquiry into the incident to check and know exactly what the issue is. For us as a state, we've been worried about this because it's just by the special grace of God that there were no tankers, no truck laden with petroleum product along the line. Of course, what would have happened.
Many will be watching to see how thorough the inquiry into this catastrophe will be. But the sensitivity of the location and number of lives lost, this is a case that should not be swept under the carpet. And in the southwest, property worth millions of naira have been destroyed in an early morning inferno, which engulfed at least 35 shops at the Gumba Okebola area of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Eyewitnesses say the fire, which started around 3 a.m., left massive destruction of shops and wares in its wake. The secretary to the Oyo State government, Alhaji Olalekun Ali, who led other government functionaries to condole with the victims of the fire disaster, said government would investigate the matter. The Southwest coordinator, NEMA, Mr. Yakub Sulaiman, also confirmed that 35 shops were affected in the inferno that lasted 7 hours. Many of the traders affected were those selling agricultural products, chemicals and allied products. From one disaster to the next, the recent heavy downpour in Lagos appears to have left bitter tales in the lips of some coastal communities, such as Ogombo, along the coastal axis of Lagos, as the flood refuses to go away. This has raised concern for residents who, while commending the state government for sending some relief materials their way, are appealing for intervention to deflood the town. Our correspondent, Chris Ilems, reports.
It's been days since the last rainfall, which caused massive flooding on the island, especially in communities along the Lekki-Ajah axis. But Ogombo, just like a jar holding up water, has refused to dry up. To get into the community, you must wade through this pool of water. And when you eventually arrive, accessing your destination means more rivers to cross. The resort is untold hardship for the people, as their houses are flooded, cars damaged, and even schools are not spared.
You can see my house. It's like no less a ghost village, a ghost house. You can see the surrounding.
Several drainage and canals in the area have either been built up or blocked by debris, thereby impeding the flow of water to the Kota River.
Out of 3 mouths of that bridge, only one is functioning now because they cannot go to the remaining 2. And at the same time, behind that LSBC building in Lekki Scheme 2, I don't know, maybe the state government that give that people their allocation. They just cover the water quarterly in order for them to be able to refill. If you go there, you see their machine for dredging.
The most they could do now is pool resources together to engage this swamp boogie to open up more routes for the water to flow out of the area. And this is costing them millions of naira.
As a community, we've tried our best. We've started opening. Even there are some, the swamp boogie, one has spoiled along the road. But the truth is that we've only tried our best. We could not do more than this.
While the Environment Commissioner in Lagos State says government was working towards addressing the flood menace, he blamed the indigene whose activities clogged the water channels.
I was there and I told them, if our grandparents there had done what they are doing now, would they get anything to sell? Just go there, sell anything. Even the drainage channels, you sell it. Wow! We are going to make those channels, we are going to through them, we are going to make them patent again. If it passes through your land, you do what you want to do with it there.
No doubt, the people of Ogombo and the neighborhood are exposed to all sorts of reptiles and dangers. But as the government has promised to provide some helpful measures, it would be proper to do so quickly. But the lessons learned here to always keep the environment safe would definitely stick with the people for a long time. Chris Ilems, Channels Television News.
Joining me now on the News at 10 to talk about the recent safety issues and is occupational health and safety advocate Jamiu Badmus. You're welcome to the News at 10. I guess we should begin with the Calabar incident. Very unfortunate that 10 people were killed in it. We've seen this happen time and again. People risking their lives going to scoop fuel because of... it baffles me the reasons why they do that. But in this case, whose fault was it that the spill occurred and the fire, you know...
As an health and safety professional, we don't usually talk about which we blame. We look at the facts and then see how we can get the root cause and, you know, kill it from the root cause, have a corrective action from the root cause. The first thing is what led to the fuel coming out, is tank being overfilled. And the question we ask ourselves is, are there not installations in place to guide against overfilling of tank? Because there's always a protection system to prevent tank overfill in any tank farm in line with API 2350. Because incidents of this nature, it has been happening. One street fire in December 11, 2005 in UK is there. We have a lot of lessons learned from there. So what it means is that if there's an overfilling of the tank, there's an issue with the tank farm, maybe they are operating the tank farm in the manual way and not in the systematic way to do tank farm in line with process safety guidelines. Then if that is the case, are we saying again that is there anything called process failure? Yes, that's a process failure. Because there's no process failure, we won't have a tank being filled to the extent that it now goes straight to the channel. Normally, if a tank is overfilled that way, the reason what you do is there is a construction called a dike or a bond wall that is constructed around the tank farm. It will stay there. Now, it didn't stay there, maybe the bond wall has openings and it goes straight to the channel. And our people, poverty, they need to, come close to take fuel.
Well, they're the unfortunate ones who were around the area. But should there be some education, so some sensitization going into informing people, where you see, a tanker, don't go close, whether it's empty or whether it's full, and especially when, the fuel is being transported from the tanker into, the tank farm.
That's very correct. The NEFSA Act 63, 1992, that allows us to have investment in all these free trade zones. The NEFSA, as an authority, needs to engage people in those communities. It's very important. It's not all about we making money. The people around that area, they need to understand the impact or the effect of, oil in that area. It's important we do business, but we do business without integrating the health and safety aspect of the business to it. It turns into a problem. In Nigeria, what we notice is that we are more reactive than being proactive. It is when there are incidents that we now start moving up and we start thinking, what should we do? As a matter of fact, as NEFSA is there, DPR is there, all these regulators supposed to have engaged the community in case, what if scenario. We need to have a communicating with them, public sensitization. They are very important because I'm 100% sure is one, lack of education, two, poverty. That when I scoop the fuel, not forgetting that for fire to happen, there must be an igniter. Yeah. Those buckets they use will ignite, and the oxygen is there, and the fuel, PMS, is very flammable. Exactly.
All the conditions were just right for that fire to have occurred. Okay. Well, looking at the Lagos flood now, heavy downfall. We've seen the pictures in the report there by my colleague Chris Selems. Communities are still suffering 1 week after the waters have not dissipated. They're still there. Homes are still flooded and so on. You can blame as many people as you want. You can blame the government, you can blame the people. But at the end of the day, what really can be done to prevent this from happening? We had enough warning that we're going to have more floods this year, more rainfall this year. So at the end of the day, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, just as I've said, let's not trade blames. Let's look at the root cause. People build on floodplain. People don't have drainage systems. Government don't build drainage systems. Government give them the land to build on it. You can't blame anybody here. So what can we do? We have seen that we are on the floodplains and it's now affecting us. Can we design and develop a drainage system? Bring in some engineering experts, design a drainage system for Lekki, so that in case there is any water flow, it passes through drainage.
And you're trying to say there's no drainage system for Lekki right now?
They have, but the drainage system is not enough for the capacity of water they are seeing, number one. Number two, people dump refuse in drainages. We need a lot of enlightenment to people. People on the road buy sort of things. You buy water, you buy gala, you buy everything you throw on the floor. We need to create a lot of awareness that what you do to the environment comes back to affect you at the end of the day.
Okay, so, well, we've talked about it, and then let's talk about the fire disasters. This is rainy season, and yet we're having fires. Looking at the one that happened in Ibadan today, 35 shops burnt and so on. How do we prevent these fires? And how do we make sure that we're not being reactionary every time something happens? How do we prevent them from even happening, before they happen, and avoid this sort of loss? Because people's livelihoods have gone down the drain.
Just as we have said before, the government needs to engage a lot of health and safety professionals to go to markets, to go to places, NGOs, to talk to people. Like the Ibadan fire, they have a lot of agricultural products being kept, and these products, some of them are flammable. And just something to trigger them, then fire will start. So we need a lot of public sensitization. The Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria needs to come out now to assist the communities, to assist the country in channeling a lot of safety issues and resolving them. And with that, government needs to engage these safety professionals of Nigeria, and from there we can have a lot of awareness and enforcement. One of the problems we have in the country is when you create awareness, you have the law, we need enforcement. People need to be enforced.
And the key word there is awareness and enforcement. Thank you so much, Jamiu Badmus, for being on the News at 10. Now, in part two, after the break, the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State holds a Thanksgiving service to celebrate the outcome of the party's leadership tussle at the Supreme Court. Please stay with us.
Thank you.